You know those massive achievements we see out in the world? A brilliant career, a masterful skill, some huge project that just seems to appear out of nowhere. We look at that finished product and we can't help but wonder, how on earth did they do that? Well, it turns out the answer is actually incredibly simple, and it's hidden in the one thing most of us never get to see.
This one sentence, right here, it basically explains everything. It comes from a story about a man named Ravi, and it gets right to the heart of this huge gap between how we think success happens and how it's actually built.
So in the story, Ravi builds this amazing, magnificent wall. It's strong, it's impressive, it's a total masterpiece. And people come from all over to look at it, and they whisper things like, wow, he's a genius, an overnight success. But here's the thing, they were all completely missing the point.
And that gets us to this really powerful idea, the myth of the overnight success. It's this illusion that great things just happen in a sudden flash of brilliance or one single heroic push. But as we're about to see, that's almost never how it works.
What if the real secret isn't some grand, complicated plan? What if it's something way simpler, something that's available to every single one of us, every single day?
All right, so let's actually break this idea down. The metaphor itself is simple, but every single piece is absolutely crucial for understanding how persistence really truly works.
Okay, first, you've got the wall. This is the big thing. This is your ambitious, long-term goal. It's the dream career you want, the book you want to write, or the marathon you want to run. It's that impressive result that, in the end, everyone sees and admires.
And then there's the brick. Now, this is the part nobody sees. It's not glamorous at all. It's that 1 hour of practice, the 300 words you write, or that one sales call you make. It's the small, fundamental bit of work that, when you do it over and over, is what actually builds the wall.
And Ravi's method was just incredibly disciplined. First, he only placed one brick. He focused just on the task right in front of him. Second, he did it every single day. Consistency was the entire strategy. And check out steps 3 and 4. No rush and absolutely no shortcuts. He just completely and totally honored the process.
But let's be real for a second. Just because a process is simple, that does not mean it's easy. This is where the real struggle is. It's not just in your hands, but in your head and in your heart.
And this right here is such a critical difference. On the left side, you've got the internal feeling, the doubt, the exhaustion, that little voice saying, what's the point? We all know that voice. But on the right side, that is the non-negotiable action. The feeling can change by the hour. The action is a choice.
This might just be the most important line in this whole story. It's about discipline winning out over motivation. Look, motivation is flaky. It comes and goes. But the simple decision to just show up, that is what builds walls.
So what happens when all of this builds up over time? Well, when you zoom out, the effect of this simple daily action becomes pretty staggering. This is the absolute magic of compounding effort.
This just lays it out so perfectly. On day 1, all you have is one lonely little brick. It looks like absolutely nothing. But by day 100, hey, you've got a foundation. After 1,000 days, a real structure is taking shape. And then, years later, you have this completed wall that everyone else calls an overnight success.
When you look at a huge, ambitious goal, the sheer size of it can be completely overwhelming. 10,000 bricks. A number that big is paralyzing. It makes you feel like, why even bother starting?
But the secret is, you never have to think about the 10,000. You only ever have to focus on this number, 1. 1 brick, 1 day, 1 task, done well. That is it. That is the entire system.
So the whole thing boils down to this. The extraordinary result is nothing more than an ordinary action, repeated with extraordinary consistency. The wall isn't separate from the brick. The wall is the bricks.
And this is where we bring it all back to you. Ravi's story is a great metaphor, sure, but the way you apply it is deeply practical. So how does this actually start working in our own lives? So what is the great wall that you want to build? Is it a career change? Learning a new skill? Maybe a health goal? Now you have to ask the most important question of all. What is the single daily brick? Is it 30 minutes of study? Writing just 1 page? A 15-minute walk? You have to define your brick. Make it so small and simple that it feels almost impossible to say no to.
And this is the mental shift that changes everything. You have to free yourself from the pressure of the giant finished wall. Your only job today is to show up and lay your 1 brick with care and with focus.
That's how you win the day. And that's how, eventually, you build the wall.
So I'm just going to leave you with this. Forget about the wall for a second. Just think about tomorrow. What is the one single brick that you will lay to move yourself one tiny step closer to your goal? Define it tonight, and then tomorrow, your only job is to show up and place it.